So in a real estate transaction, the failure of a purchasing party to close on the agreed upon closing date can have significant financial and legal consequences. Where such a delay occurs and the seller allows for an extension of the closing date, the seller typically seeks to ensure that they're not financially disadvantaged due to the purchaser's breach. Usually this is done through the imposition of specific costs and conditions which vary based on the transaction details and negotiations between the parties. Some of the most common terms and expenses sought to the seller in the event of an extension include all financial adjustments, so specific to carrying costs of the property for the non-breaching party. The breaching party, in this case the purchaser, would be responsible for any utilities, property taxes, common expense payments, if applicable, from the original closing date through to the extended closing date, just to ensure that the seller is not out of pocket for those expenses. Further to that, the purchaser is to arrange for all applicable utility accounts to be transferred into their name with, again, proof that it's done effective as of the original closing date, just to further bind them to that extended closing date as well. Additional costs that the seller can seek to ensure that they're made whole on is with respect to any additional costs of property insurance due to the extension requests of the breaching party. Most importantly, a common condition that we ensure is included on behalf of our client who's the non-breaching party in the transaction. If the purchaser were to still fail to close on the extended closing date, all deposit funds that were currently held in trust from the outset of the transaction, typically by the real estate brokerage involved, are to be released to the seller without any further consent. This is typically done by having the buyer sign at the time of notice of the breach, what's known as an irrevocable direction to all parties. Further non-refundable deposit is often required, payable immediately to the non-breaching party as compensation for the extension. Additionally, if the seller incurs, for example, a higher prepayment penalty or any per diem interest costs on their existing mortgage for the property, the buyer would then be obligated to assume those costs as well. So these are just some of the typically negotiated costs involved in an extension request. Again, however, the underlying remaining principle always remains is to secure a firm closing date while ensuring that the non-breaching party is made whole and not left out of pocket due to the cause for the delay or the reason for the extension. This highlights the importance of meeting contractual deadlines and the potential financial exposure where those deadlines are not met, and the importance of having a real estate lawyer negotiate these costs on your behalf just to ensure that you're made whole and not left out of pocket with respect to such a circumstance.